Hello. Welcome along to episode 216 of Adventures in Pop. My name is Simon Jacobs. And, a couple of things to talk about today. Most excitingly, I want to give you a preview of the new Goldhawk Foxes single, which is out this Friday. That will make it the 28th of March. And it's called Never Be Together, and there's a video and everything, and that's coming up in just a few moments, so sit tight. But first of all, I just wanted to mention, just because it's, quite a significant slice of action in the news, you might have seen this earlier on this week, but this is the news about Ed Sheeran writing an open letter to the Prime Minister of UK, Sir Keir Starmer, calling for this country to put £250 million into music education. And I suppose it's worth saying, Great Britain has got a very, very kind of thriving, or at least has had a thriving kind of music ecosystem that has punched above its weight, to use the old cliche, for absolutely years and years and years. And, it never stops surprising me and plenty of other people just how strong the kind of music industry remains after decades and decades. But what Ed Sheeran is pointing out is that I think last year was the first year there was no British artist in the top 10 singles charts at the end of the year. And he's beginning to worry that there isn't a new generation, coming up through schools, and that's the area that needs kind of to be sorted. So it's not just Ed Sheeran. When you write an open letter to a Prime Minister and you are Ed Sheeran, I suppose the first thing you do is you call up your mates and try and get a bit of a pile in to get as many people onto this as possible. I'm looking here at an article in The Guardian at the beginning of this week. Actually, when you say I said at the beginning of this week, I'm talking about a couple of days ago, actually. Elton John backs Ed Sheeran's call for UK to put £250 million into music education. And so has Coldplay, Harry Styles, Stormzy, and plenty of others, Annie Lennox, and lots more. And what he's saying is he wants a campaign for music funding in schools, training for music teachers, funding for grassroots venues and spaces. That really is a problem. I mean, I'm not so familiar with what goes on in schools these days, but goodness, we can see around the country how many music venues, particularly kind of the small ones where people start out, so many of them are gone. So we've lost a lot of those. So he's talking about venues and spaces, apprenticeships in music, and more diverse music curriculum. He wrote in his letter, as an industry, we bring in £7.6 billion into the UK economy. It's not bad, is it? Yet the next generation is not there to take the reins. Last year was the first in over 20 years without a UK global top 10 single or album in the charts. So yes, okay, so I mentioned the singles charts, he's mentioning the album charts as well. Problem. Sheeran has called upon the government to provide a cross-departmental task force to work together on these issues to ensure music education remains high on the agenda. The letter continued, the time to act is now. State schools, which educate 93% of the country's children, have seen a 21% decrease in music provision. That is quite bad. We collectively asked for a £250 million UK music education package this spring to repair decades of dismantling music. And that's also true. This is about the Labour government coming in and discovering, I think they inherited a over £160 million shortfall, according to this article here, to ensure the future of music education over the next 5 years. In other words, no guarantee at all that they're going to be able to ensure the future of music education. Before winning the 2024 election, Keir Starmer, a former child flautist, did you know that? Did you know that Sir Keir Starmer was a child flautist? That means he played the flute, by the way. We discover the most incredible things, don't we? He loved travelling with his youth orchestra, and he told Classic FM that he passionately wants to reverse the degrading of creative arts and music in state schools. So along with the names I've mentioned before, yes, Dave, Paloma Faith, Sleaford Mods, Miles Smith, many, many more have signed this open letter, and it has something like 500 signatories, in fact, from the music industry. This is really interesting. Arts advocates are hoping Labour's long-awaited curriculum review, led by Professor Becky Francis, will lead to a boost for the arts and greater educational inclusion, closing the access gap between state and private schools, etc., etc. So that is really an interesting thing. Look, and I think it goes back to something I've mentioned before about Ed Sheeran. Is he's a thoroughly nice person, and doing stuff like this makes me think he's a thoroughly nice person with, looking out upon the world and wanting to do something positive. And it's very easy to not bother, isn't it? So good on Ed. I like what he's doing here, maybe more than I like the music he actually makes. So, if Ed wants to become a music industry activist, poking at government to get more funding for people to, develop careers at an early age, go for it, Ed. Okay, let's leave that there. What I want to do now is just talk a little bit about, Goldhawk Foxes. There's a new single, as I say, coming out at the end of this week. It is the 6th single to be taken from what will be Goldhawk Foxes' second album, which I reckon, I guess another 5 or 6 months and it will be ready. And we talked about maybe, late summer or something like that. But just in case you're a bit new to this, I just want to backtrack and just give you a little bit of update on Goldhawk Foxes. Goldhawk Foxes is one of my collaborations. It's two of us. That's me and CJ, who just happens to kind of live about half a mile away from here. So it's very easy for us to get together. And we've been doing this for about 4 years, maybe a little bit more. It started kind of in the middle of, in between lockdowns, I think back in 2020. So we might be coming up to a 5th year soon, but I think it's about 4.5 years we've been doing this. And it's a really interesting combination. I'm absolutely certain that I'm involved in the co-writing and production of stuff that I would never be coming up with by myself, because that's the whole point of a collaboration. I've said this many times, but the whole point of collaboration is you want to do stuff that's different from your own stuff. You want to stretch yourself. So if you're just looking at it about what's in it for me is I get stretched. My skill levels get challenged all the time to think about, approaching something in a different way. CJ is a little fixated, I'm sure he'd admit this himself, with kind of 90s R&B. So he loves people like Aaliyah and Usher and Mariah Carey and many, many more. So, not always my absolute taste in music, but there's something interesting about two people from slightly different musical backgrounds coming together, and different ages, let's be fair, coming together and collaborating, writing stuff together. And we, as I say, we're on our second album, and I just thought I'd just remind you a little bit what's already gone before on the second album. As I say, this is the 6th release, and on the second album, you will find quite an interesting range of styles. So we started out with So Here's to You, which is very electronic. Keep Your Head Up, I would say ditto, quite electronic, although in a different way. The third track was Hate the Fact You're Loving It, which was much more quite dark and kind of more dance oriented, but had a kind of slightly aggressive undertone. And then big change into Nobody But You was the 4th single, I think. Much more kind of a bit guitar-y, much more light and tuneful. I'm saying that, but I really like all these tracks. The 5th single was The Bad One, and now we come to the 6th one, which is Never Be Together. And Never Be Together is very guitar-y, and there are more of those yet to come. So I'm thinking this is a more diverse range of songs, and we've pretty much got the rest of the album written. We're just, polishing some up and working out which ones make it and which ones don't, which is always a slightly painful thing. But there are a few that, despite the fact we really like them, we think they need more work, so they get parked into the need more work file. So look, that's just a way of saying here comes the sixth single, and do familiarise yourself with the first five. Otherwise, well, look, let's just say I'll be round, okay? I'll be checking. That does sound quite threatening, doesn't it? Can you imagine? I get my coat on and I decide I'm going to go and visit every, Spotify listener. It's going to be a while, isn't it? Anyway, all I want to say about this is we made a video. We put a little bit of thought into a video, and as you will see, it's a very, very expensive and very, difficult to achieve video. Basically, even though the sun was fading in the sky, which actually gives the street quite an interesting light, what you'll see is CJ walking up and down a road. Yeah, it was very exacting. So I hope you enjoy it. Do sit back and relax for 3.5 minutes. And here is the world exclusive of Never Be Together. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Carry on, nothing's changed. Go to work, act the same. Walk the walk, say the thing. Inside I pray, I make it through the day. We were never gonna work, no. So can you tell me why it hurts? Never be together. I don't even get to be sad about you. So move on. I won't ever get to get over us. How can I be strong? Say nothing, walk away, take the L, 'cause that's the game. See you around, act like it's not strange. Every night I'm out with friends till the sun comes up again. Feel no shame, 'cause I numb my pain. Need to break your hold on me. Never be together. Cut me loose and set me free. We can never, I don't even never get to be together. Sad about you can never. So never move on. Never be together. No, we can never. I will never get to be together. Over us, we can never. How can I be strong? We can never be together. We can never